Do you have a succulent plant that has grown tall and leggy, but you are hesitant to trim it? Well, guess what? I have some great news for you. Did you know that trimming your succulent is a smart move and often the first step in propagation? By cutting back the succulent head, you are stimulating the mother plant to produce more growth. Whether your plants are stretching out or just need a refresh, I'll show you a simple and effective way to trim them without damaging the mother plant. You'll also learn how to turn these succulent heads into healthy new plants while helping the original one grow even more. Get ready to grow your collection like a pro. So, when can you trim your succulents? You can trim your succulents anytime you see them elongating or stretching out, or has become bushy. But if you want a noticeable transformation and faster growth, timing is key. The best time to trim is during milder weather, typically at the end of winter or early spring. Why? Because as temperatures warm up and daylight increases, succulents naturally enter their active growing phase. This means your trim plants will heal quickly, sprout fresh growth, and develop stronger roots much faster than in extreme heat or cold. So if you're looking for the best results, timing your trim with nature's rhythm is the way to go. With that in mind, remember that some succulents go dormant during certain seasons. Some rest in winter, while others slow down in summer to withstand extreme temperatures. This is how some succulents look like when dormant during summer. Succulents can start to look dull or weak when they go dormant. Their bright colors might fade, turning pale or brown, and sometimes the leaves are soft, limp, or a bit wrinkled because they are not soaking as much water. Some might drop their lower leaves or tighten their rosettes to hold onto moisture. Growth pretty much stops. It can even seem like the plant is dying, but really it's just resting. Dormancy is their way of protecting themselves from harsh weather, like taking a little nap to survive tough conditions. So if you want your succulents to sprout new growth, avoid trimming them during their dormant phase, as they won't be actively growing. Cutting them at the wrong time could mean little to no progress. So, timing is everything. Trimming succulents for propagation is easy and rewarding if done correctly. Look for a healthy stem with at least a few leaves. If your succulent is leggy, trim about 2 to 4 inches from the top. Make sure to cut just above a set of leaves or nodes, as this encourages new growth from the mother plant. Use sharp scissors or shears to make a clean cut at a slight angle. Avoid crushing the stem, as clean cuts heal faster. Place your cuttings in a dry, shaded area for 2 to 3 days until the cut ends callouse over. Letting your cuttings air dry gives the cut end time to seal and heal, which helps prevent rot or infection. It's an important step to ensure your cutting grows strong, healthy roots instead of soaking up too much water too quickly. Succulent cuttings need well-draining soil because unlike other plants that prefer moist, rich soil, succulents prefer things on the drier side. If the soil holds too much water, their tender new roots can suffocate and rot before they even get started. Using pots with drainage holes is super important too. Without them, extra water has nowhere to go and ends up sitting at the bottom, which can lead to fungus and root rot. Even if you use the right soil, a pot without holes will still trap moisture and cancel out the benefits of that good soil. The best soil mix for succulents drains fast, stays airy, and doesn't hold too much water. A simple recipe is 2 parts potting soil, 1 part perlite, and 1 part coarse sand. The potting soil gives a bit of nutrition. The perlite keeps it light and fluffy, and the sand helps water drains away quickly. If you did not get the recipe, it's in the description below. And if mixing your own soil sounds like too much work, you can always grab a ready-made cactus or succulent mix from the store. It does the trick too. Once the cut ends of your cutting have dried and healed, it's ready to go. You can plant it in the soil and start on its journey to becoming a strong, healthy plant. Some gardeners plant fresh cuttings straight into the soil without air drying, and that can seem a little confusing after watching this video. Honestly, I do it too, and it can work especially in dry climates. The trick is not to water them right away. Keep the soil dry or just barely moist. This way, you'll help your cuttings avoid rot and give them a chance to settle in and start growing roots safely. While your cuttings are growing roots, keep them out of direct sunlight. Once they settled in, you'll want to give them lots of bright, indirect light to stop them from stretching out and getting leggy. Aim for around 6 to 8 hours of indirect light daily to help them grow nice and strong. Take it slow, start with gentle indirect sun, and then slowly introduce them to the full sun so they don't get sunburned. Transitioning succulents to direct sunlight should be done gradually to prevent stress and sunburn, especially succulents grown indoors or in shaded areas. They need time to adjust to intense sunlight. Sudden exposure can cause their leaves to scorch, turn brown, or white with dry damaged spots. This happens because their tissues are not yet adapted to handle strong ultraviolet rays and heat. Do you need to fertilize them right away? Newly planted succulent cuttings do not need fertilizer immediately because their priority is to develop a strong root system before focusing on growth. Fertilizer provides nutrients that encourage rapid leaf and stem growth, but without established roots, cuttings cannot efficiently absorb these nutrients. Applying fertilizer too soon can overwhelm the delicate developing roots, potentially leading to stress, weak growth, or making them prone to pest infestations. Instead of using fertilizer right away, try using rooting hormone. It helps kickstart strong root growth and gives your cutting a better chance to settle in and thrive. At this early stage, roots are just getting started, and fertilizer can actually be too much for them. Focus on giving your succulent well-draining soil, good airflow, and plenty of bright indirect light. This creates the perfect environment for healthy roots to form. After a few weeks, or even a couple of months, once the roots are well established, you can start feeding it with a diluted, balanced fertilizer to help it grow strong and steady. And if you're wondering how soon you can water, planted succulent cuttings should not be watered immediately after planting. Instead, they need time to form callus and start developing roots before being exposed to moisture. Watering too soon can cause the cuttings to rot as they lack established roots to absorb the water properly. The best practice is to wait at least 5 to 7 days before the first watering, though this can vary depending on climate, temperature, and humidity. In dry, warm conditions, cuttings may root faster and need moisture sooner, while in cooler or more humid environments, they may take longer. During this waiting period, the cuttings rely on stored moisture in their leaves and stems to sustain themselves. Once the cuttings show signs of root growth, such as resistance when gently tugged or small roots emerging from the base, watering can begin. The first watering should be light and infrequent, allowing the soil to dry completely between waterings. When planting succulents from cuttings, Several common mistakes can hinder successful growth. So let's highlight the important things you need to remember. You need to let the cuttings callus over before planting, and when doing so, place them in a ventilated area away from direct sunlight. You also need to use a well-draining soil mixture and plant them in pots with drainage holes. Do not expose to strong direct sunlight right away, but rather slowly acclimatize before exposing to the full sun. And do not water immediately. Wait 5 to 7 days before watering and water only sparingly initially. And lastly, here's an important lesson I learned while propagating succulents that I want to share with you. If you want your succulents to grow bigger and faster, don't crowd them all into one pot. It might look cute at first, but when they're packed too close together, they end up fighting for water, nutrients, and sunlight. Some will struggle while others might take over. So giving them enough space helps each plant get what it needs to really thrive. So there you have it. I hope you picked up some useful tips from this video. And if you want happy, healthy succulents, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel to learn and be inspired gardening with succulents. Take care everyone. Bye.